Okay, think about this for a second. What if we could stop just patching up the symptoms of aging? Things like arthritis or heart disease, and instead go after aging itself. Well, let's dive right in, because a whole new wave of science is doing exactly that, and it's targeting the problem at the very, very root, this cellular level.
And believe me, the stakes here are incredibly high. Get this. Right now, a staggering 80% of adults over 65 are dealing with at least one chronic age-related condition. That's just huge. It's not some abstract number, right? It's the reality for millions of people, and it's what's driving this urgent search for a better way to get older.
So here's the game plan for our quest today. First, we're going to unmask the hidden culprit behind aging. Then we'll look at two ways scientists are fighting back, a kill approach and a tame approach. We'll touch on the big challenges, of course, and then wrap up by looking at what the future of longevity might actually look like.
All right, Section 1, let's meet the villain of our story. You see, the real problem isn't just the number of candles on your birthday cake. Nope. It's the buildup of these rogue cells that are literally sabotaging our bodies from the inside. And they have the perfect nickname, zombie cells.
Now, the fancy scientific term for this is cellular senescence. Basically, it's a state where damaged cells just refuse to die. They stop dividing, which is actually a good thing. It helps prevent cancer, but they don't go away. Instead, they just hang around, still metabolically active, and they become incredibly destructive. They're literally the walking dead of our cellular world.
So how exactly do these zombie cells do all this damage? Well, they spew out this toxic cocktail of inflammatory stuff. It's called the SASP. And this SASP creates a constant low-grade inflammation all over your body. It's so common, scientists even have a name for it, inflammaging. And all that inflammation just wreaks havoc on the healthy cells in your body.
And if you're wondering just how powerful these things are, check this out. In a really groundbreaking experiment, scientists put just a tiny number of these zombie cells into young, healthy mice. And the result? Widespread physical problems all over their bodies. This was huge because it proved these cells are a direct cause of aging-related decline, not just something that happens alongside it. Okay, so if these cells are causing the problem, well, the logical thing to do is get rid of them, right? This brings us to our first hero in this story. It's the direct approach, using therapies called senolytics, and their one job is to hunt down and destroy those zombie cells.
Okay, this is a really important concept to lock in, so let's break it down. We've got two main strategies on the table. You've got senolytics, which are like assassins. They go in and directly eliminate the zombie cells. Then you have xenomorphics, which we'll talk about in a minute. Think of them more like diplomats. They don't kill the cells, they just convince them to be quiet and stop sending out those harmful messages.
So how do these senolytic assassins work? Well, they're smart. They exploit the unique weaknesses of zombie cells. For example, some drugs go after the specific proteins these cells use to stay alive and avoid self-destructing. Others block enzymes they absolutely need to survive. And what's really wild is that some of these are even natural compounds. Yep, stuff you find in apple peels and strawberries can actually help trigger this cell death.
But what if killing the cells isn't always the best move? I mean, could there be another way? This brings us to our second hero, the tame approach. It's a much more nuanced strategy using something called xenomorphics, and their goal is to tame the zombies, not kill them. The core idea here is actually really elegant. You can think of xenomorphics as a mute button for these zombie cells. See, they don't destroy the cell itself. They just shut down its ability to pump out that toxic, inflammatory SASP cocktail we talked about. So you neutralize the threat, but you leave the cell in place. And how do they pull this off? Well, there are a few ways. Some drugs block key pathways that are essential for making that toxic SASP. Others interrupt different signaling chains to get the same result. What's crazy is that even some common drugs, like metformin for diabetes, can help suppress the master regulator of inflammation, basically turning down the volume on all that destructive noise. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds amazing, right? But, of course, science is never quite that simple. So let's talk about the real-world obstacles, and more importantly, how researchers are getting super creative by combining these two approaches into a powerful one-two punch strategy.
So our quest has a few major hurdles to overcome. First off, we don't have a perfect zombie detector. There's no single way to find every single one of these cells in the body. Second, they're not all alike. A zombie cell in your skin is totally different from one in your liver. And third, and this is a big one, these treatments can have off-target effects because sometimes, believe it or not, these cells are actually helpful, like in wound healing.
And here's a perfect real-world example of that. There's this promising senolytic drug, navitoclax. It works.
It kills the zombie cells, but it also messes with a protein in our blood platelets, which can cause their numbers to drop to dangerous levels. It just goes to show how absolutely crucial precision is.
So that brings us to that clever 1-2 punch strategy I mentioned. Here's how it works. Step 1, you give the xenomorphics, the tame drug, to quiet down the zombie cells and calm all that inflammation. Then, once everything's nice and calm, you follow up with the senolytics, the kill drug, to clear out those now quieted cells. It's brilliant because it maximizes the effect while minimizing the dangerous side effects you'd get if you just killed a bunch of angry, inflamed cells all at once.
And this is where we get to look at the future of longevity. Because overcoming these challenges isn't just about clever strategies, it's about having the right tools. So let's check out some of the incredible new technologies that are accelerating this quest and really pushing us into the era of personalized medicine.
And what's so cool is that these new tools directly tackle the challenges we just talked about. We've got AI helping us discover newer, more selective drugs way faster than a human ever could. We've got targeted delivery systems. Think of them like microscopic smart bombs, using nanoparticles to deliver drugs only to the zombie cells, leaving healthy ones alone. And we have multi-omics atlases, which are basically super detailed biological maps that help us understand the unique signature of every single type of zombie cell. All this means we're moving away from a sledgehammer approach and toward using a scalpel, designing treatments that are personalized right down to your specific cells in your specific tissues.
So, where does this all leave us? Well, the ultimate question this science forces us to ask is a really profound one. For the last century, we've just been treating the symptoms of getting old. But now, by understanding and targeting these zombie cells, we're building the tools to actually intervene in the aging process itself. And that's a fundamental shift. We're moving from a type of medicine that just treats sickness to one that actually engineers wellness. One that could extend not just our lifespan, but more importantly, our health span.